I had a bad attitude, bro. Before I started there,
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be where I am today because I learned how to change my attitude. I had a bad attitude.
Right.
Bad attitude. I thought I was the number one. Bad, like, I just had a horrible attitude, bro. I wasn't a good person. Like, I really did that. I wanted it all my way. And so that's how I was towards this guy. And he was like, man, do you know who you're talking to? Like, I'm number one in the city. I'm number top in the nation.
Yeah.
And so he challenged me and he told me in my face, he goes, you know what, man, you'll never make it in this business. I don't even know what you're doing here. You probably won't even last one more month. And then like just disrespecting me.
Yeah.
And I'm very like a prideful person.
Yeah.
So I remember he told me that and I was like just like fuming, like, because he told me in front of like the pretty girls, in front of everybody, and I was just embarrassed. I was like, damn, he's right though. Like, he's over here saying I ain't doing nothing. What am I doing here?
Yeah.
He's right. Like, everything he's saying is gonna be true if I don't do something about this.
All right, guys, welcome back to Always Level Up the podcast. I'm your host, Carlos Garcia, and today I have an amazing guest, Jonathan Ray Hernandez, aka JR, founder of Clutch Entrepreneurs and Clutch Investment Group. Welcome to the show, JR.
Thank you.
Glad
bro.
to have you here, brother. How you doing?
Good. You know, that was the first time I got introduced by my real name, but you know, that's my name.
Hey, sometimes people just need to know.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know you, tell everybody a little bit about who JR is.
So I'm an entrepreneur, born and raised in San Antonio, Texas. I love real estate is my passion.
Right.
All I do is real estate. I plan to, at the moment we operate a wholesale company here in town.
Okay.
We do wholesaling, we do investing, we do a lot of content creation, and really those are my three passions that I'm gonna continue to do forever. I think. Yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into the journey, right? So at Always Level Up, we always talk about the journey and how you've been able to level up in your life, and for the most part, most people have humble beginnings, and I know you're no exception to that. It's never been an easy road, an easy journey. So share a little bit of how it began and where your first major level up started.
Man, so I think like how far you want to take it back?
As far as you want to go.
I mean, I'm from a hardworking family, right? So like my dad, blue collar, tough worker. He was born in Mexico but raised in America, and so he has that real like old school Mexican like work ethic, bro, and no handouts.
Right.
So like he was the type, bro, like to
I
this
don't want
day,
your help, but
I don't want, bro. He wouldn't let like I never wanted like a financial assistance from nobody, but my sister, she had her first kid at like 15.
Oh dang.
And she has like she has a few now, and she to this day, because of my dad, she would never accept WIC or help from the government, nothing, because that's the type of stuff we were raised on.
Right.
He don't want no help.
Grit.
We're gonna work for everything we got.
Love
right.
It.
And so that's kind of like who we are, right? My mom, she's a hard worker. She sold insurance for the past 30 years.
Right.
We're in the same industry for 30 years. So that's the type of like work ethic I come from, right?
So they're in sales.
Yeah.
Insurance, right? You're selling insurance.
They're sales,
it's not easy.
Yeah, for sure. So, but that's where I come from, like that kind of like where my parents hard workers. My dad had me working since I was young, man. I would say since I could remember, he had me working.
How old were you? Do you think?
Like until I started like working. Like, what do you mean? Like what kind of job?
Because like, did it start with like a hustle? Like were you selling?
Yeah.
Like
I started hustle since I could remember, bro. Like elementary school, middle school. I remember like. Since middle school, I would sell stuff, you know what I mean? Like, whatever I could.
Did you ever, sell candy, like door to door? I did that once,
Yes.
They come scoop me up from school, drop us off in the neighborhood, and we'd just go.
Oh, you sell like the candy bars?
The candy bars.
No, I never sold that. You know what's funny? One time my friend, I had a friend, his mom owned one of the, what are those, like one of those taco stores, like chains. Not Las Palapas, there's another one.
Taco Cabana?
No, not Taco, but one of those.
Taco Bell?
No, it was like Las Palapas type, like like San Antonio one.
Okay, gotcha.
And she would pick us up every day and take us, and she would give us like 30 tacos in the morning.
Yeah.
And I would go to school, and he would let me sell them all. That was one of my, I can remember doing that. That's so San Antonio, right? Breakfast tacos. That was one of them. Man.
Hey, one thing some breakfast tacos are gonna sell.
Exactly, bro. And I sell them for a lot.
Yeah, you knew your market.
So that was one of my hustles. Breeding dogs. I was trying to sell everything. I've always been a big dreamer. like my cousins would call me, one of my cousins would call me Dreamer,
Right.
because I was always talking crazy.
Right.
Hey, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and they're like, yo, shut up already, like Dreamer, like like bro, behave already.
They're trying to knock you down, man.
But you know how it goes, like. But I would always talk wild, bro.
Right.
Like wild, like I'm gonna be Jay-Z type stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And but since my first real job I can remember was with my pops. He had me working with him since I was like 12. Between 12 and 14, I was working with him full time, or like in the summer full time.
Right.
Stacking bread, you know. But that's, I guess, maybe my first job.
Yeah,
right. Like I got a paycheck.
Yep.
So I was working on 18-wheelers, or
Okay.
not. I wasn't working physically. I was doing like the brakes. He'd have like I was working on the brakes.
Right.
Bro,
Okay.
it was horrible, bro.
Yeah.
I'd get home full of grease.
Labor job.
18-wheeler brakes are crazy
Yeah.
huge, bro. And he'd have me like sorting them out, stacking them on pallets.
Right. Whatever you can do.
Yeah, that shit was horrible, but that was like
At least that taught you what you didn't want to do, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, bro, exactly, for sure. Like I remember. So I worked there on and off for a long time, right, trying different stuff. And then one day I decided to quit. I remember I quit. I was like, hey, Dad, I can't do this no more. Like, I hated it so much, bro. I wouldn't even want to wake up in the morning. I was that bad. Like, oh, I gotta go. Like, bro, it's hot outside in the summer. If y'all know San Antonio heat, it's hot.
Yeah.
And I
100
have to
degrees,
go mess with these
110.
brigs. Yeah. And I told them I quit one day, and I remember them being so upset with me. My mom and my dad, they were like, this is a good job, all this stuff. But they don't, you know what I mean? That's all they know.
Yeah.
But guess what? It comes full circle. Now they both work with me.
Yeah, right on.
You know,
Yeah,
so it's
that's
kinda,
awesome.
Yeah, 10 years later, right? 12 years later.
Hey, I got something better for you.
Yeah.
Right on.
So now we're a team.
Right, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you know, you started working at a young age, right? So that built your work ethic, right? But you always had this dream that you wanted to be somebody, right? What was that dream? Who did you want to be? I mean, you said Jay-Z, but like how did you see yourself in the future, you know?
I've always seen myself really rich and wealthy, right? Millionaire, mansions, vacations, popular. Like, that's how I always vision myself. And I don't know, I would like on magazine covers and stuff like that. Like, I've always visioned that, bro. I don't know why, but that's how I always vision myself. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, I guess pretty much to keep it simple, that's kind of what I thought.
Right on. Well, and I think it's important because, you know, as you work to understand who you want to become, man, if you don't have a vision, well then you kind of drift. And you know, you see that in the environment that, you know, you grow up in. You know, a lot of people don't have vision, they don't have ambition, so they stay stuck. Right. So that's something that you need for growth, right? So even though you didn't know what was going to happen or how it was going to happen, you just knew you wanted to be somebody. So I think that's pretty awesome. You know, I think it's a very important thing to take note of. So how did it go, you know, moving from, you know, working there with the family, quitting? You know, what was the next point of growth where you started finding your vision starting to come into fruition? Yeah,
so like one thing I want to touch on before we go forward though is like how important that is, because like self-image, right? Like we were talking on my podcast when you were on mine. Now that I'm older, I realize how much that was important into my growth and to where I'm at now, because the way like your mind works is crazy. Like if you have a self-image of yourself in a certain way, sooner or later you will be there. If you keep it steady and you hold on to that image of yourself. And it's just crazy now that I look back, like, dang, it was all from then. Like I always had that vision. But so it's super important, guys, if you're watching this, make sure that you have whatever you want to become, make sure you have that vision as clear as a crystal, like crystal clear, just right in front of you, of who you're gonna become and what you want to be, because it's crazy how your mind works, and it's kind of like a self-guided missile. Like it just it finds a way to get there. Right. Like it'll take a bunch of crazy turns, but eventually it'll hit the target.
Right on.
So that's just something that I've learned over the years that's very important, I think.
And to add to that, one thing that, you know, I experience in the terms of identity is when you start to deal with people who try to have an impression of who you are and try to tell you how you are. Right? How like you have to be careful with that, because sometimes people will try to plant a seed in your brain that you're not that guy. Like you're saying, your cousins are like, hey, chill out, dreamer. Hey, man, come back down to reality. One of the things, you know, I'm the same way. You know, I have these big dreams and aspirations, and people be like, man, your head's in the clouds, man. Let me bring you down to reality. I'm like, all I hear is you bringing me down. Like,
Yeah.
nah, man, get out of my way. You know, we're climbing. We're going to the top. Wherever it is, whatever it looks like, you know. So you have to have that, and you're absolutely right. Because if not, man, then...
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? How it could be, like, the closest people to you.
Yeah.
Like, it could be your own mom. It was my mom, my dad, my cousins. Like, the people that you think... And they really do love you, though.
Right.
They really do love you, and they want the best for you. But it's crazy how it could be the people that, like, love you the most that try to, like keep you out of your dreams the most, because and you can't blame them. It's that all they know. They want you to succeed, and they don't want you to fail, right?
Yeah, and it's just they don't know how to get there.
Exactly.
You know, so they kind of put those limiting beliefs on you, and it's not that means that they're out to hurt you, but it's like, man, you just got to know you got to stick to what you're shooting for, right?
Exactly.
And I love that you said that. So you know, let's keep moving. How did we go to the next level?
So the first thing for me, man, is I wanted to start my own business, and I remember I had no skills, I had no money, I had nothing. Like, my parents don't come from money, so I don't have no way to start a business like with their help or go to college or anything. And I didn't want debt. That was the number one thing for me. I did not want debt. And I was looking at everybody going to college, and I'm like, man, that's a lot of debt. You know, even a normal, you know, it doesn't have to be a very big name. It's still going to put you 30, 40K easy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, 30, 40K in 4 years, and I can go get a job. I was like, that don't make sense to me.
Right.
30, 40K, and I'll loan that against a business, and I can start making money tomorrow. That makes sense to me.
Right.
So I was like, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And I still couldn't get 30, 40K, but I was just like, I was trying to make sense of not going to college. You know what I mean?
It's crazy how they lend you money to go to school, but they don't want you to start the business, right?
Exactly, bro. So anyway, so like, you're from San Antonio, bro.
Yeah.
So you know Mustangs were hard back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, everybody had a 5.0. Yeah, you know, Fox body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I had one, man. And me and my cousins, we all had one. We'd drive around on the line. We were called PBR, Pony Boy Racing. Right? I don't know if you ever heard of it then, but we had a little clique.
You might have heard of us back then.
And we'd race everybody. And, bro, I had a sick one, bro. It was candy red. I had nitrous. I'd pull up to school, and I'd hit the little nitrous button.
How old were you at this time?
I was like 16. I was a hustler, bro. By any means necessary, you know. And I'll push the little nitrous button. I get it, but you know, but when I sold the car, I was like, my first business, I was like 20, in my early 20s.
Right.
So, man, I love this car so much, bro. And this was like a story of sacrifice. I literally had nothing to my name, bro. Like, I'm broke. I'm living check to check. I couldn't even afford an apartment.
But you had a 5.0.
I had a 5.0, but I couldn't even afford an apartment at this point, right? I'm working, and I was living with my mom in my early 20s, and I'm like, man, I need something else, bro. Yeah. And I looked at my car, and that's all I got. And I'm like, I would tell everybody around me, since everybody knew me since I was real young, because I built that car from the ground up. Right. And I told them I'll never sell this thing. Yeah. And I was like, man, that's all I got, bro. So I sold it. Yeah. And, bro, you know, it's a crazy story. I know this is a divine plan, bro, because the day I was supposed to sell this car to start my first business, I had somebody come in to give me $5,500 from Houston. And I already had all my plans in order. I was gonna buy this, and this, and go working the next day. And I dropped it off at my dad's friend's house, who's a mechanic, and he was supposed to fix this little thing for me, just a little thing. It was like a vacuum leak. It was perfect. I fixed his transmission. I did so much things to it. I go the next day to pick it up. The guy's an hour away, and the car's not there. I was like, what's going on, dude? And I start banging on the door, like, where's my car? And I know it was like, you could feel it, right? Like, and I just felt like it was like something happened, right? And slowly this dude comes out, and I'm like, you can tell, right? Like, oh, what happened, bro? Comes out, man. I totaled the car. And I'm like, you what? Like, bro, this is my whole life savings, bro. Like, I'm supposed to start. I got a plan. Dang. Yes, dude. And it's an 89 Mustang, so it's not worth much, the insurance, right? Yeah. So this is how I know this is like divine stuff, bro. Right. So, like I told you, my mom sells insurance, right? So she had this weird thing on my insurance plan that has like an antique. Right. An antique something that I paid extra for, like $30 extra a month. Really? So it could, like, so if anything happened, they'd be able to pay me more. And I didn't know this. Right. And so he drives me to the frame shop, and the guy comes out. He tells me, "Yeah, it's totaled, bro. You're done. Like, you're not gonna get nothing for this car." I'm like, "Bro, I'm so into, like, bro, my dreams are crushed. How am I gonna start a business now?" Yeah. Right. And so it's crazy. So the insurance adjuster comes out, and he happens to be a Mustang fanatic. Right. And he's like, "Oh my, this is the cleanest 5.0 I've ever seen, bro. Blah blah blah. I'm gonna give you, what were you setting it for? $5,500. I'm gonna max it out." And he gave me like $5,400. So like, bro, like divine intervention.
So you still got your money.
I still got my money,
Man,
luckily, bro. But my mom
like,
being an insurance agent, putting this antique clause,
yeah.
and then the adjuster being a 5.0.
Hey, that was God right there.
Exactly, bro. That's how I know.
That was God blessing you right
there,
brother.
Yeah, so anyway, so I get my money. First thing I buy is a $2,000 truck.
Right.
And it's a F-150, like a 99, no AC, single cab, windows don't roll. I mean, they roll down, no AC, torn leather. And I bought a trailer for my grandpa, $500.
Right.
And I bought like landscaping equipment, pressure. I was like, bro, I don't know how to do nothing, but I know how to cut some grass.
Yeah.
And even then I messed it up. I couldn't even do the line, like the weed eater. That's how bad I sucked, bro. And so I had a plan. And to this day, I still remember everybody making fun of me because I was like, look, what I'm going to do, I'm going to invest this $5K and I'm going to sell this. I'm going to create a little landscaping business. I'm going to get people to sign a contract where I can cut their yard for $40 a piece.
Right.
And then I'm going to put it for sale and I'm going to sell it in the summer. And I'm going to make 30 grand. I always tell people that.
Yeah.
They're like, you crazy, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like everybody's working like 9 to 5 like I was.
Right.
So I go hustling all summer, bro, knocking on doors, getting people to sign up. Bro, so I'm learning sales. I'm learning grit.
You're selling contracts.
I'm making money out of thin air. I'm creating a business, right? I'm learning marketing. It was it's nerve-wracking. If you've ever, like, guys, if y'all are watching, you've ever tried to knock on a door to try to sell something, it's scary.
Man, it's intimidating.
It's intimidating, bro. Like, you're going, and then I would go in the best neighborhoods because I'm trying to get, like, nobody's going to do that in normal neighborhoods.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody cuts their own grass. So I had to go
Exactly.
Bro, I had guns pulled out on me. Rude people slamming the door in my face.
Yeah.
And I would go around with my brother. My brother's all tatted, and we just look like knocking on, like, you know, people are scared in these neighborhoods. And so, anyways, long story short, at the end of that summer, I got like 40 contracts signed. Nice. Hustling, bro. And I put it for sale on Craigslist. And if y'all don't know what Craigslist, y'all are probably too young. So we put it on Craigslist.
Craigslist is still out there.
Is it still out there?
Yeah, man.
Bro, I didn't know it was out
there. It's a moneymaker.
Not that it's Facebook Marketplace. But okay, y'all got a gym. So I put it on Facebook Marketplace, and some guy calls me. And he's like, hey, I'm interested. Can you bring all the equipment? And I want to see everything. Bring the contracts. And I was like, whoa, dang. First lead.
Yeah.
I take it over there. I remember being with my mom, my little nephew.
Yeah.
He really looked up to me, man. And the guy looked at it. He saw the contracts, and he made me an offer for 20 grand. And I took it. I was like, all right, 20 grand. That's $5 grand worth of stuff. And I made money on it all summer.
Right.
So boom, I get a 20 grand check, bro. I can still remember that feeling of success.
Yeah.
That was my first major win.
It wasn't the 30, but it was pretty close.
Yeah, or it was like, I was saying 25 or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but I remember the 20.
Right.
And I just remember, like, looking back, that's still a lot of money.
Well, you probably had $5K worth of equipment, so your net 20 grand.
Right. But still, I leveled up.
Yeah.
Right.
That was a big level up because,
it was.
You know, on top of that, you went out and accomplished and executed your plan.
Exactly.
And that's big time.
That was the big thing,
yeah.
to me, in my opinion.
Right on.
I was able to walk with confidence and tell my mom and my brother and my sister and my cousins who were making fun of me, like, check this out.
Yeah.
And they were looking at 20K like, dude, like, nobody's seen that back then. You know what I mean? It was a lot back then.
Let me borrow some money.
Yeah. So, man, I'm so pumped and I'm like full of like life right at this point. Like, more than now, bro. Like, I just remember, like, there's nothing like them first wins.
Yeah.
You know, and just, like, scoring that touchdown, bro. And just, like, man, I made it happen. Wow. Believe in myself. Like, I bet on myself and I hit the jackpot, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
So my goal, man, always is I always want to be a developer. So I'm trying to work my way up, my skills and everything, because I didn't know how to do nothing.
Right.
Like, during that time, bro, I was messing up people's yards.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know how to use the weed eater that good.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't make that straight line.
Hey, fell forward, right?
No, but I learned now, bro. I go, I'll flip that thing, I'll do a design, whatever you want me to do.
Behind the back.
Yeah, all that, bro. So I got 20K now, and I'm like, okay, level up season. We're going to do the same thing round 2 this summer, but we're going to go harder. Yeah. I'm going to learn skills now. So now I got my confidence, my swag up. You know what I mean? I know how to knock on doors with skill, with swag, you know? And that's everything.
You got your pitch down.
I got my pitch down. Okay, this time I'm doing landscaping, tree service, and the lawns, because I'm going to try to set it again.
Yeah.
So I remember I took out like an F-250 diesel truck, and I was like, I'm going to get big jobs. I want to hunt big jobs, bro. Yeah. So, bro, I started getting big jobs. I'm talking about 50 pallets of grass, 100 pallets of grass, like 18-wheelers just dumping dirt, renting bobcats, 18-wheelers dumping rocks, like big landscape, 10, 20K jobs, cutting trees, 10K, 20K trees jobs, and we're going hard. I got a crew, and so long story short, I got my skills up to that point. I go, okay, it's time to go again. Next summer, I'm going to sell it. This time, 50 grand. Yeah. I put it for sale, right? Craigslist. I'm always hiring, and then I got some jobs, hiring for workers, and then and then I have ads for work, and then I have ads for try to sell the business. And one day, this dude from Mexico that worked with me, bro, I'll never forget. I'll still talk to him. His name's Ricky. Straight from Mexico, bro. Didn't even know English, nothing. And he tells me, hey, I'm gonna buy your business one day. No, he goes, no, one day he told me, I'm gonna buy your business. Like, I want to buy it. I'm ready. And I was just like, we looked at him, bro. He was like, bro, he was playing me like a fool, bro. I would have never suspected. And I was like, Ricky, shut up. I was like, whatever, get back to work, bro. He's like, nah, look at me straight. I'm serious. I was like, Ricky, shut up. He's like, I'm gonna go tomorrow to your house, because we always met at my house in the morning, had coffee, ate our breakfast, and we'd all take off to the jobs. And I was like, whatever, Ricky, like, stop. And then he's like, all right, I'm telling him I'll buy it, get the titles ready and everything. He's like, I've been looking at I got hired through your ads, but originally I was looking at your for sale. But I applied through your job to see if you were the real deal. Like, I don't want to get scammed. It's a lot of money. He's like, I just sold my Chinese restaurant out of all things.
What?
I was thinking a Chinese restaurant. But so I'm like, all right, Ricky, that sounds cool, bro.
That's funny, right? You got a Mexican owning a Chinese restaurant.
Bro, it's weird how that works. And he goes, so I go, all right, come tomorrow, have the titles ready, bro, it's yours. You got the truck, the trailer, the tools. Oh, actually, I had an old F-150 that I gave him. And so he goes the next morning, bro. We're all at the breakfast table drinking our coffee, and this dude walks in with a brown paper bag, and he just dumps it in the middle. Just all 20s and 10s rolled up. And we're like, oh, what the fuck? And fucking Ricky, dude. And I'm just like, yo, and I like kind of gathered it all up, put it back in. I told everybody, like, hey, I guess we're not working today. So I go to the back.
Hey, y'all working for Ricky?
Hey, that's your boss now, right? So I go and I open the safe, bro, and I sign the titles to the trailer, the truck. I give him all the receipts. I give him my phone number, the email, the website. Oh, that's yours, bro. Man. Took it to the bank, bro. 40K. I would put it for 50. I got 40. That's the way it works, right? So,
hey, man, you already know. You got to negotiate.
And you got to remember, I was making money this whole year. I'm learning how to do big jobs. So I was just like, man, I'm winning at this point. I'm like, my confidence is soaring. I feel like a champion, right? And I'm just a whole new guy.
Right on.
40K, boom, and my skills are up. And then I told my brother, and I go, dang. I go, you know what, man, it's time. Like, we're going to start the construction company. I'm ready. He's like, bro, we don't know how to do construction. I'm like, bro, we didn't know how to do this. Like, we're starting.
I didn't know how to, I didn't know how to use a weed eater.
Exactly, bro. So he's like, yeah, let's go. So yeah, man. So, I don't know if I'm going to say it, but I wouldn't advise it, right? So, like, I don't know, it's kind of not right, but I would go to other Craigslists in different parts of the U.S. And take their pictures and put it all on one ad and put Jerry's Construction. It wasn't even my work, bro. I can get in trouble. I don't know if I can get in trouble, but this is in the past, right? So
Statute of limitations.
This is in the past. It's over 10 years ago. So I put them on one ad, Jerry's Construction. We do it all: roofing, painting, sheetrock, flooring, blah blah.
Well, we'll just call those stock images.
I got stock images. I got some stock images, right? So I get them, bro, and I put them on Craigslist, and I start getting leads because I know how to do sales now. I know how to lead generate leads, and so yeah, I'm ready, bro. I'm nervous though. I am nervous. I'm always nervous, bro. I'm nervous to this day, because I'm always trying to level up, right? So like I'm always uncomfortable, but I'm used to it by now. And so people will call me for like a roof, bro, in a neighborhood like this. And I'm very nervous, bro, because like, I don't know, like it's just scary. I've never done a roof, bro. I'm bullshit.
Man, you got a lot at stake now, right?
So like I would go and I had a little ladder, a little 250, and I would tell the lady like, hey, I'm just the sales guy. I'm going to get some pictures. I'm going to measure it for you. I'll get back to you with the price. So I take everything in construction, if y'all know. If you know, it's by square footage, basically. Everything's by the square foot. Flooring by the square foot, you know. Paint, everything. So let's just say the roof, I would take the pictures of square footage, get the pitch, and then I would call Juan's Roofing. And I'd be like, yo, Juan, like, here are these pictures of square footage. Here's the pitch. How much are you charging for this? Material and labor. Hey, I'll charge you $3,000. Cool. Then I'd call AAA Roofing. I'd be like, hey, here I got a roof. Here's the pitch. Here's the square footage. How much you charge me? I'll charge you $8,000. Okay, thank you. I know these people that live in this neighborhood are only calling AAA, right? They don't even talk to Juan, right? They don't know how. So I'll be in the middle. So I'll be like, okay, I'll tell the lady, ma'am, I can do it for $5. She'd be, really? That's way cheaper than $8, right? And so then I'd tell Juan, but there was a charge that Juan, like, I'll get you the job, but one condition. I'm gonna get you the job, but you let me work with you and teach me. You don't gotta pay me. even though I was making probably more than him on the sale, right?
Right.
And who would say no to that? Free labor. So he was
yeah.
like, yeah, absolutely, come on. So I learned how to do roofing, bro. I learned how to do everything. Like that same principle through everything. I learned how to do flooring, I learned how to do sheetrock, I learned how to do baseboards, paint, texture, bathrooms, kitchens. If you go to my Instagram at Jared Clutch and you scroll all the way down, you scroll for a minute, you'll see me on roofs, framing,
doing the work,
painting. Me myself. I had my own crew. So anyways, we get to the point, man, we're doing big jobs. I built a company doing it, and we start working with investors. And this is where I start getting closer to real estate. And where we meet. So I'm doing this, man. I'm working for all these investors, big investors. And man, I always forget this guy's name. You know him.
Chris Gill.
Chris Gill. How do you know Chris? Well, anyways, I always remember this guy because he's a big part of the story.
I've sold him a few houses.
Okay, so Chris Gill, I was working for him, doing him on, and I remember to this day, it's on Burleson. And
he did historic rehab.
A historic rehab. It was a big remodel. It was a lot of money, and I was doing a 500 square foot, 800 square foot addition. Making it a 3-2 complete gut. It was like a trap house, and I made it some nice. And this is
they
in
are
right now.
on the east side. That's the way most of them were on the east side, right?
So I had my own crew, right? So everything was cheaper. I remember one day he showed up. I had never seen him because I would always work with like his project manager. And he shows up and he looks at me and he goes, man, like, this is your company? You look young. And I was like, yeah. I go, but hey, bro, is this your flip? You look young. Like, I'm trying to do what you're doing, bro. Like, you got this money to flip this house. You can make some money. And I was just started asking him questions, and he gave me the idea. He introduced me to the idea of private money, hard money, wholesaling. And I didn't know none of these concepts. And I thought the whole time I'm saving up and learning these skills because I want to flip houses. But I thought I needed the bread. I thought I needed 100, 200, 300K liquid. And he's like, bro, it's private money. I'm barely coming out of anything. I'm not even paying interest. I'm not even paying payments. Somebody's lending it to me. I'm like, what? And I'm like, yo, what? But I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So I started researching. He goes, get your license and look at like investment brokerages. And so that's where we come to play. So I get my license, and then I apply at a few investment brokerages. We won't say no names. And I apply at this one where I met you. And I thought it was a hoax. I thought it was fake. Because it was like an investment firm. I was thinking like New York Stock Exchange, right? I don't know what I was thinking. I had no idea of nothing. And they called me and they're like, hey, we want to set you up an interview. And I was like, yeah, sure. All right. And I was just BSing. And then so she calls me the day of the interview, the lady that worked there, the assistant. She goes, hey, are you still coming in at 11? And I was like, yeah, text me the address. I'll be there. And I put it in my GPS. And I showed my friend. I'm like, yo, look at this. This is crazy. It was like a straight line connected to 9th Street. Like straight where I was. Like it was just across the highway.
Like, man, it's right there.
It was like right. I was like, yo, that's wild. I was like, should I go? He was like, I mean, well, you gotta. I take care of it, bro. Just go. And I was like, I think it's a hoax, bro. He's like, well, check it out. Let me know what it looks like. I was like, all right, dude. I hop off the roof. I was literally doing a framing edition. I was in something like this, like a lumberjack jacket. But like
painter pants,
bro. Sheetrock on my shoes, like literally sawdust on me. Like, and that's crazy at that company, right? Because everybody's in suits. They're like dressed real nice. So I get off. I drive over there. I literally smoked a doobie on the way. I'm reeking, bro. I drive up, and I'm like, okay, this looks kind of legit. I open the elevator, gold elevator. I'm like, oh man, it's kind of. All right, let me walk in. I get out, and there's like, I just remember the first thing I saw was like 2 or 3 guys with resumes in a suit. And I was like, oh, damn. And then they all look at me.
Am I in the right place?
They all look at me real funny. And then the assistant, she was like, can I help you? And I was like, I'm here for the interview. and I was like, everybody was like, kind of like, well, this don't seem right. And she's like, John? And I was like, and check this out. I had canceled the interview. This is how I know it's all divine. I had canceled the interview. But when she called me back, like, hey, are you still coming that day with the interview? She thought I was somebody else. She was like, hey, John. It happened to be another John. She's like, hey, is your son doing better? Are you still going to come in for the interview? So I canceled mine, and she mistaken me for another John. Oh, no way. When that happened, I was like, well, that's kind of weird. Let me go. You know what I mean? So, bro, I go, and then she's like, okay, like. And out of all that days, the general manager was not there, but the top salesman was there. And you know how top salesmen are, just wild. And so I remember him just coming out and just laughing. He comes out and he looks at me and he's just like, ah! Like, bro, bust out laughing. I'm like, dang, I deserve that. He's like, bro, I gotta hear this story, bro. Like, I need to know what's going on. Come back here, bro. So the dude comes. So I go to the back, and I just remember like seeing everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this is cool. Like,
Yeah, this is legit.
The energy was just people on the phones. Like,
Yeah.
it did look like the New York Stock Exchange, right? Downtown San Antonio, like people just making sales. Like, yo, this is like Wolf of Wall Street. This is cool. And so I tell him my story, and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm actually working on a house down the street. I'm doing a $100,000 remodel. This is what I do for a living. And show him pictures of my work. He's like, dang. He's like, you know what? You might be a good fit here. Like, you know the product. This is what we sell here. Yeah. And I was like, you know what, bro? I was like, look, if you give me another opportunity, like, I won't make you look bad. I was like, I'll come dressed up. I'll be professional. Right. I was like, honestly, I thought this was a hoax and a waste of my time. But now that I see this, I go, bro, I'll make sure you look good.
Right.
He's like, all right, I think I get you. So fast forward, they give me another interview. I get hired on the spot. And in this investment firm, I went to number 3. Yeah. And you know that, right? So I went number 3 in sales in like 9 months. Yeah. In the whole nation. Yeah. And man, it's history.
Very impressive, you know, being able to come in and it really, you know, showcase your skills on how you're able to connect with people and capitalize on opportunity, you know, and that's the thing in sales and in business, you know, a lot of people wait for deals to happen, right? They wait for the business to come to them. And you were the kind of person that went out and went after it, and you went and got it. You know, you went and seized the opportunity wherever it was. You were looking, searching high and low, and I noticed that about you too. You know, I was like, oh, this guy got something right here. I think, you know, he has a lot of potential. You know, we'll see where he's going. Yeah. And sure enough, you know, straight to the top, man. Top in the company and definitely in the city. You know, so that was an impressive performance there. So, you know, as you grew in that space, you know, like, what changed? What changed you?
I'll be honest with you, man. Like, I didn't even like it when I first started. I never did investment sales, and I just thought there was a lot of pretty women there. It was a cool environment. It was kind of like I used it as like my little office while I was working down the street. Right. And then one day, I'm not sure if you heard of the story, but there was a top sales guy in the city and in the nation that challenged me. Oh yeah. He was supposed to be my mentor. Yeah. And I deserved it. I disrespected him. Yeah. Because I was like, man, I'm making more than you already. I don't need that. Like, but I had a bad attitude, bro. Before I started there, I don't think I'd be where I am today because I learned how to change my attitude. I had a bad attitude. Right. Bad attitude. I thought I was the number one. Bad. Like, I just had a horrible attitude, bro. I wasn't a good person. Like, I really did. I wanted it all my way. And so that's how I was towards this guy. And he was like, man, do you know who you're talking to? Like, I'm number one in the city. I'm number top in the nation. Yeah. And so he challenged me and he told me in my face, he goes, you know what, man? You'll never make it in this business. I don't even know what you're doing here. You probably won't even last one more month. And then, like, just disrespecting me. Yeah. And I'm very, like, a prideful person. Yeah. So I remember he told me that, and I was, like, just, like, fuming. Like, because he told me in front of, like, the pretty girls, in front of everybody. And I was just embarrassed. I was like, damn, he's right, though. Like, he's over here saying I ain't doing nothing. What am I doing here? Yeah. He's right. Like, everything he's saying is going to be true if I don't do something about this. And I'm like, oh, I'm just fuming. I just remember telling people around me, hey, what do we do here again? Like, what is it we do here? I'm gonna do something. I need a sale.
This is before you even become a top agent, right?
This is before I made a sale. Yeah. And I was just like, what do we do here? Somebody show me what we do. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to beat this guy. I don't know what we do here, but I'm going to beat him. Right? And so he was the top guy, so it was a crazy challenge that I took upon myself, right? And he had a 3-month head start, plus a year of training before that. Yeah. So, and I'm day one. And so I remember, it's a funny story. Shout out to Gabe, man, if you're watching this. You're part of my story, man. All love. I mean, you remember those little pop rocks he threw, like, like during like the July 4th and stuff? Yep. And I remember he was a very serious guy. Serious guy, right? Like, I'm a playful guy. And he was eating at the desk and I was throwing him at it. Like, he was next to a wall and I was just like, right now while he was eating, I was just trying to piss him off, bro. Like, I hate this guy. Like, and then he just got up and blew up in my face, took off his shirt. That's fine. And he's like, I'm gonna whoop your ass. Like, you're gonna leave like next week. I'm having fire about it. And I was like, all right, bet, it's on. And from that day, bro, I just started learning sales. I started just selling everything. Everything. Yes, and you know, like, I just, from there, he never beat me one day after that. Yeah. After that, I beat him every single month.
It motivated you.
Motivated me.
Motivated you. Well, sometimes it takes somebody to get under your skin, or sometimes it's an event. It's something that lights that fire, you know, to get your mind focused on the right things. And I think that you know, that's kind of what we need, you know, at times, right? That adversity, that challenge, right? To go out there, and one thing about that environment, it's very competitive, you know. And if you're not showing up, then people let you know.
Yeah.
You know, they'll call you out, right?
Absolutely.
And after that, it's like, what are you gonna do, right? Sink or swim.
Right.
Right. So you chose the latter, right? You wanted to swim and get out there, and be the best, and that's in line with what your goals and ambitions are, right? So
right.
So going through that experience, man, and moving through that, like, you know, what else did you acquire along the way? What kind of values? What kind of transformation happened in that process?
Well, this is where I met you, right?
Yeah.
And you introduced me to a lot of things. That's why I'm on this podcast. I always show you love, bro, because you changed my mindset a lot. So, like I said before that, man, I didn't think I was a good person.
Right.
I was very selfish, just bad attitude.
Right.
Always my way. And then I met you, man, and I remember seeing you for the first time, and you were like in a suit and stuff, and I just really thought you looked sharp. Right. You were like in shape. I was like, who's this guy? Yeah. Right? And I remember you told me your story, and it inspired me. I was like, man, this guy came from more adversity than I came from, and he's doing way more than me. Like he's doing, and like his attitude's good. Like, what's up with all this? Like, I like it.
And then, I was at a different office in a different location, so I really didn't witness what happened.
Yeah.
That lit your fire.
Yeah. And I just remember, like, you would be into the 13 principles.
Right.
And I was always wondering, like, what's the 13 principles?
The 17
principles. Yeah. And you introduced me to Napoleon Hill. Right. And that just put me into a rabbit hole of self-help books. And so that brought me to The Power of Positive Thinking. And that was the first self-help book I ever read.
Right.
I was in my late 20s. And I remember I just devoured the book, bro, because I wasn't a very happy person. Even though I was achieving all my goals, I wasn't really happy.
Right.
And I didn't know why. It's like I was always chasing this thing that I could never catch.
Right.
And then I started reading all these self-help books, and it started, like, I would devour them, bro. Like, I feel like it was like the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, talking directly to me.
Right on.
On all these books. And I was like, wow. And I just, bro, I've devoured. That's how I've studied for the past 5 years. And you introduced me to that, so I thank you, bro.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Give you your flowers right now. And I just, that's when I started, like, figuring out how I was thinking. I had a lot of negative thoughts. I had a lot of negative emotions in me, like even me just trying to beat this guy, starting a fight just to light my fire, like on some Michael Jordan stuff. Right. Like, I was like, that ain't healthy though. Like, what's really wrong with me? Like, you know what I mean? Because now I don't operate from that no more. Right. I don't operate from that, like, level anymore. I found a new way to operate. Right. From, like, love, from, like, from a good energy. Right. Creation. I don't have to hate you to win. I don't have to beat you to win. We could win together. Exactly. You know what I mean? So I've evolved that way. But most of that thing is my attitude, bro. Like, now I have a really good attitude with everybody. Like, and I always try to see the good in people. I try to see the good in everything. And I think that's what I've changed the most since then, I think. I agree. Yeah. You know, and one thing that I've learned along my journey is, like, you know, when you learn things that help you grow, you know, you got to share them. You know, and that was one of the things that, you know, I experienced was so much change and transformation that I was like, man, I want to share this. I found gold. Like, I want to share this with everybody. Like, if you're willing to receive it, I want to share it with you, because when you start to invest in yourself and invest in your mind and start to really understand, like, man, that good energy and real success doesn't come from, you know, being upset and being angry and just wanting to beat people competitively, man. Like, if you can start to tap into having control over your emotions, you can actually start to create things in a more positive way and have things work in your favor, and actually have people work with you and want to do things for you in a way that's like, man, there's no resistance there. You know, so I think it's important to share that, you know, and I'm glad that it had an impact. And I think that, you know, with that change, you know, that gave birth to some more opportunity and growth within yourself. So what happened, you know, after you're, you know, you make it to the top there, you know, how did that go? So like I said, I didn't get along with, like, the manager there. I really liked that company, but we didn't share the same values. I felt like I was a very hard worker. And maybe it was just my bad attitude. I don't know what it was. But it was part of my journey. It was what was supposed to happen. So I left that company. I had like a 2-year non-compete, so I I didn't do that for 2 years.
You abided by it?
I abided by it. I didn't do that, so I started flipping houses for 2 years, doing other stuff. So after I was flipping houses and stuff for a while, and my 2-year non-compete was over, I just like fell kind of back into it a little bit. And I wanted to try it again. I just wanted to see if it would work and if I liked it, because I was good at sales. I've a lot of people knew me in the city, and I was good at sales. So I wanted to start this clutch thing. I want to start my own brand.
Right.
And you know, I was like, I'm big into sports, right? So I was like, man, I'm on to clutch. So I named it Clutch because it just, I feel like I'm clutch, but I feel like everybody I looked up to coming up was clutch.
Right.
Like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant.
What does it mean? What does it mean to be clutch?
So clutch is just performing under pressure.
Yeah.
And everybody that's clutch was great.
Yeah.
There was no normal people that were clutch.
Right.
Because they were. It's a privilege to have pressure.
Right.
So you have to be the best to even have pressure.
Right on.
If you're middle of the pack or low, you don't have the pressure. Nobody's gonna pass you that ball on crunch time.
Yeah.
So first of all, to even have the privilege of having pressure, you have to be the best.
Right.
So to be clutch, you have to be the best. First of all, to have the privilege of that.
Right on.
But then it's being able to make it happen when that time comes and they pass you that ball. And that could be figuratively speaking in life.
Yeah.
Because it could happen at any time. Like, you know, like for instance, when it was time for my dad, they were wanting to like let him go, and he's been there for 30 years, bro. And I was like, I came through clutch for him.
Yeah.
Like I gave him a position. I go, you know what, Dad, I got you.
Yeah.
Not only am I gonna take care, I'm gonna pay you more than they paid you.
Right on.
And you're gonna have your own schedule. You're
That's
gonna be
clutch.
a boss. That's
Yeah.
clutch. I was doing that for my dad. Like, you know
Right
what I mean?
on.
Not like that's clutch. You know what I mean? Or like, you know, that's just one scenario. But like, I'm sure that you can think of some stuff where you have to come through for your loved ones or for yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just coming
in
through.
In a time of need, man. When somebody needs you,
right.
Or, you know, whether, you know, the game's on the line, business is on the line, man. You know, you're going all in. You know, you burn the boats, and you got to go clutch, right?
That's clutch. So that's being able, people depend on you in the times of need.
Yeah, and you show up.
And you show up and you make it happen, and you're the hero.
Right on.
So that's what that is to me. So that's what I decided to name it after, because that's the pinnacle of sports.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right
Y'all all watch sports of your favorite team. Like,
Right
if you
on.
saw the World Cup, it was the most epic World Cup of all time.
Right
when
on.
it was Argentina versus France. And it was Messi and the dude from France, I forgot his name. But they were
You knew Messi was
if
there.
If you saw that, you would know what clutch is. Like, they were both clutch. But at the end of the day, Argentina came out on top, and Messi's like the GOAT now.
Yeah.
And that's clutch, and that I wanted to like represent that into something and make it a movement.
Oh, was it Ronaldo?
No, Messi.
No,
On the other team,
no.
Mbappe.
Mbappe?
Mbappe,
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
But he's
okay.
a bad dude too.
Yeah.
But he ain't Messi.
Yeah.
Right? Messi's the GOAT, right?
Yeah,
or
yeah,
he's
yeah.
arguably, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys that are good at soccer, but he's one of them.
That's
but
a topic for another
But
conversation.
this World Cup, if you know what I'm talking about, it was like nail biting, bro. It was like, oh, and I'm not even into soccer.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get that spirit and put it into something. That's what clutch represents.
Right on.
So that's where that came from. But anyways, man, so I started the wholesaling thing, and we've been doing really good ever since. I have an office now. We have 10 people there. We're hiring. Want to get to 20 people.
Right.
We're doing a lot of volume. I'm also building a portfolio of investments with my pops. He does the project management. My mom cleans them for me, so I get to pay her some money. And I do a lot of content creation. All right. So you were on my podcast just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Good podcast. Y'all should check it out.
Clutch Entrepreneurs. That's a good one.
We do vlogs. And that's where we're at right now, man. So
that's awesome. And I think that, you know, one thing that I'm picking up is, you know, your desire for staying outside of your comfort zone. You know, you do things that most people will shy away from. You know, and I think that's important because, you know, when you get to a certain point, you know, in life, and when things get easy, you know, they can kind of get a little boring.
Yeah.
You know, there's no really like, what's next, right?
Yeah.
It's always like the what's next type of mentality. And that's something that I've always craved myself. You know, it's like, man, how high can I go? You know, what's the furthest? How can I maximize whatever it is that I'm doing? And where is that limit? I want to go to the limit, right? I want to go to the edge. And I think that's really, really important to have that mindset, because if you want growth, if you want riches, if you want to become wealthy, you have to push yourself to a point of discomfort. And you have to have faith, man. And I talk a lot about the faith aspect. But faith isn't applied until you actually make the leap, right? Until you actually go all in and you do the thing. And, you know, coming in clutch, right? Doing that, starting the business, going all in, say, hey, let me try this. Let me get this going. And not even trying it. I'm going to commit to it. I'm going to do it. And then I'm continuing that journey to fulfill that vision of yourself at your greatest point in life, right? And I think we're always working towards that every single day. So I mean, it's inspiring to see that journey and actually to hear about the stories and how it began, because most people don't understand that. You know, they think you know, they can see the success, they can see, you know, the nice cars or whatever, but they're like, man, what was the price to get there? And I think that's important, right? Because, you know, there's a price to pay for everything, right? There's a struggle that comes with every victory, right? Even when Jordan did his best, man, that guy worked his butt off, right?
Yeah.
All these great athletes, we can relate to the athletes because, you know, they perform at such a high level, but those guys, you know, have extraordinary work ethic. Kobe, right?
He's on all my walls.
Dude, his work ethic, man, like that guy was talking about, he'd get there 3 hours before the game. Shooting his jump shots, right? Just to get warmed up. It's crazy. So, you know, I think that's the kind of thing that it takes to be successful, right? Going the extra mile, but also, you know, being able to channel your energy inward and say, okay, what is it that I need to do to be better, right? So, you know, as far as, you know, we're here in this time, you know, you've leveled up several times, man, ever since you were a youngster, and now you've grown to become an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur, content creator, influencer, businessman, leader, all these things, man. It's been an incredible journey. What would you say is some of the things that helped you get to this point?
I would say the belief in myself, right? My self-image that we're talking about, confidence in myself. But I would always just say like curiosity, just being curious and studying and having role models and people that I look up to that have always done big things. Like ever since I was little, I remember just looking up to, like for me, I would like look up to rappers and stuff.
Right.
Because they just had everything I wanted, right? They had the cars. I remember like Master P, like you remember all that stuff growing up. They had everything I wanted, the Cash Money, right? And I remember having like the little medallions and stuff. But to me, it's always looking up to something higher.
Right.
To this day, I always look like I don't feel like I'm doing nothing yet. Like I really don't, because I look up to guys that are doing way more. Like now, my role models are business content creators like Grant Cardone, Patrick Bet David, guys like that who are like billionaires or soon to be billionaires. But also give back and influence. But I would also say that it was my studying of the human spirit. Like I believe like us as humans are like the most interesting creation.
Right.
Like we're literally capable of anything.
Absolutely.
And how we can transform and mold ourselves to whatever we want. Like you've come from a lot of adversity and look at you now.
Right.
And you got so much more to go.
Right on.
And I've always just like been really inspired by these kind of stories like yours and other people like of just the human spirit, bro. Like it's like no limit.
Right.
And I don't even think honestly that we've tapped into understanding us as a creature. Like, you know what I mean?
Right on.
So like just studying the subconscious mind, studying the belief system, studying all that.
Right.
That's what I think is like actually in my past 5 years, because I think I've seen my most growth in the past 5 years, and that's all I've been studying is self-development and like human growth and subconscious mind and stuff like that.
Right on. So what would you say is the next level for you to shoot for?
My next level, man, I wanna get really good at my content creation. I want to spread the message to a lot more people. I want to have more offices for my wholesale operation. I want to grow the portfolio big and get into real estate developments and get into big projects and meet some big players. And that's what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life.
Right on.
Bigger projects, more offices, and spread the message to as many people as possible.
Right on.
So I'm gonna do forever.
Well, that gives you purpose and pretty much irons out the path for the rest of your life and your work.
Yeah.
What to go after, right? So it keeps you on that path and it doesn't allow you to drift, right? So I think that's important. So to wrap it all up, what would be the best advice you can give to the younger version of yourself chasing their dreams?
Man, honestly, I would work on my habits and on my belief systems and look into self-development at a young age. Because like I said, my most growth happened in the past 5 years. If I would have been doing this since I was 15 and really like looked into why I do what I do and seen my habits, because everything we do comes from our surroundings, right? And people don't try to hurt you, but it's just how they grew up too. So I had to struggle just like you did with a lot of that. And it took me many, many years, decades to figure out what I was doing and why. And so if I could have understood that at 15 and healed and grown and learned about that many years ago, it would have been crazy right now.
Yeah.
But it's good. Well, I found it now, so it's good. So if you're watching this, self-development, understand why you do what you do, your habits, try to see who you want to be and see what is not in alignment with that right now, and start to see why you do that, because it's not going to be an easy change. I still to this day struggle with habits and just stuff that's programmed into me since I was a little kid.
Right.
So, but it's better to start now to understand why you are who you are and to start changing to who you want to become.
Right on.
Yeah.
And I think with that comes being able to understand how to replace habits with better habits. And that's one of the principles of success, right? Cosmic habit force, right? So when you're able to become aware of your habits, recognize the good ones, hone in on those, but be aware of the bad ones and replace those with better ones, and that shapes who you're going to become tomorrow. So, man, I love it. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us today. Hope you guys found some gems in here. And remember, you can follow JR at Clutch Entrepreneurs. You want to plug in how can people follow you?
Yeah, so you can find me on YouTube, JR Clutch, Instagram, TikTok, JR Clutch. We do vlogs, podcasts, evergreen videos where I kind of teach this stuff. And y'all can reach me on there. Send me a DM. I'll respond.
Yeah, you got Clutch Academy.
Clutch Academy, clutchstudents.com. Yeah, we're going to be launching that. You can sign up now. And we're going to be doing some cool stuff, man. So stay on the lookout for that.
All right, on. All right, thanks for your time. Hope y'all got some value. See you in the next one.